Hello, what is up? It is I, your Lord Octopussy, and I am finally here to do my sort of thoughts on the mid chapter updates. Now that part two has come out, I kind of wanted to do both in one to give my overall thoughts on all of it because it's big, and I like things that are chunky. I like things that are big and chunky, and I like my updates big and chunky because all the mid chapters and all that have really barely done anything for the game. Um, I think the biggest one in the recent history is the one that changed Coldwind and Freddy, Huntress, and Demo, and that really wasn't that big. This one is going to be significantly bigger, um, to the point where they've had to have two parts to it, which is amazing. So I'm going to go through it, and we're going to see, I'm going to read what, I've already read what it's about. I've read this all multiple times over, and I've discussed it quite a few times over already, so it's more just going to be me like, okay, this is what I thought. With the trapper, you basically start with two traps. There's now always six traps at spawn, and some add-on adjustments. It's small changes. I don't think it's enough. I think this part here needs to just be base kit. Like I'm not entirely sure why they don't just give him all of his traps, unlike all the other killers that can place down traps like Freddy and Hag and Demos isn't really a trap, but you know what? It still counts as a thing that he can place down on the map. He still has all of them. Well, it still has all of them when it spawns. Um, it's for me, it just seems really bizarre that Trapper is like the one that they've decided, no, we're going to keep this outdated mechanic where you have to walk around and pick up all your traps. And the fact that this one comes with the effect of not being able to pick up your bear traps is kind of I don't really like it that much. It's I probably won't be using that add-on ever. This one I probably will. This one looks really interesting. It's a really great add-on design. Um because it's the one where they escape from it, so if they're on the other side of the map and they're gonna free themselves from it if someone else doesn't. Alright, this after does this apply if you get rescued by another survivor or not? And I mean I suppose it doesn't it only really matters in a loop more than like if they like get out a loop and they can't really make distance. I suppose it's not gonna be the greatest add-on, but it's gonna be pretty fun to run. I think. Spirit. Now they did an addendum on the second one, where this one will not be in the PTB, so we'll actually see what it's like with just the directional phasing sound, which is I think probably the better way to do it. Is to see if this alone is good enough, because what they're doing is they're giving Spirit counterplay. They're making it so that if you're within the terror radius of the Spirit, which is 24 meters, you actually hear the directional phase sound. And that just means that you can determine where she is, roughly where she is. This is a rough idea of where she's coming from. It's going to be similar to when they had the bug where you could hear Spirit's passive moaning. Don't get the wrong idea. When she was phasing, like you could hear where exactly she was, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is great. This is amazing. They should just keep this in the game. I don't care if it's a bug." And then they removed the bug, and I'm hoping that now this is going to be something similar, but only intentional. And they've done more add-on passes. This one, I actually came up with this one in a like the series. I keep saying I wrote this series. A series that I wrote about changes that I'd make to DVD. This one was actually an ultra rare add-on, but it's still the same idea. You use the active ability button, you return back to the husk. And that one could be really good for the mind game, I suppose you want to call it. The counter to it is if you can, you want to run away from both where the spirit could be coming from or where you can hear the sound coming from and the husk once you know that she has this add-on equipped. So I think it's really cool. It's a really neat design add-on. It's basically the same as Nurse's one. Nurse also has an add-on that does this, but this one's probably much better. And this one is really unique in its design. I'm trying to think of situations where you could use it. You could quickly pop your phase whilst in the middle of shack. And then if you had blood favor, and then you pop this like in like near the window at Shack, you basically just delete Shack's everything. It's for 5 seconds, but that 5 seconds they can't vault a window. It's a lot. It's a lot of time in terms of the chase, you know. 5 seconds is how long you get stunned for when you get DS'd, so you know how long 5 seconds actually is when it comes to DVD. And here, they're also doing this with Survivor. I should really say that for you, but they're doing this with Survivor as well, with the add-ons, where they're actually just going to state exactly what the add-on does as opposed to using the vague terminology. This is something that people have been crying for years, practically since the game first came out. And I'm glad to actually see it be put. I suppose at this point, there's so many add-ons that they have to go through that it might take them. It took them probably a really long time, especially since they've gone through them. But like, okay, this is shit. This is shit. This is shit. This is too strong. This is too strong. This is fine. And they've had to go and rework all of them anyway. So, Hillbilly, I'm hoping he's going to get a lot of decent add-on shit because a lot of Hillbilly's add-ons are just kind of ass. And I hope Low Pro Chains becomes base kit, but it probably won't, which is very sad. Nurse will probably just receive straight reworks. Hoping they delete or they change the, what do you call it, the recharge time add-ons, because those are objectively her best ones and they're the most boring ones to go against. Because they add absolutely nothing to the nurse gameplay at all. That all it is I can use my power faster. Ooh. And the stronger nurse's power is with add-ons, the harder it is to actually make perks in the game because nurse breaks DVD. The shape of we've actually seen one of these add-ons and it's actually linked up here. Oh yeah, actually I'll go after because the shape, Hag, hoping. Okay, tombstones and that hoping they go. Hag, hoping mint rag probably might not change. But Rusty Shackles hopefully will, and a lot of the other shit ones. Only Scott Not I hope goes. Alchemist Ring I hope changes. Wraith, fuck. All-Seeing Silent Bell needs to go. Pig, we've seen 2 of Pig's add-ons, and Ghostface's. I hope Ghostface actually gets add-ons that change up his gameplay because all of his are absolute dog shit and boring. Unused add-ons are weak 2 power. See that? I mean, those are the ones that you should change because it's just more variety once they all become sort of similar level. We actually see the add-on changes that they talk about here. So they did one here for where you start the trial with all the bear traps. That's gonna be fucking insane. That's gonna be mental. That's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Especially if you compare it with Corrupt Intervention. And if you pair it with Exhaustion add-ons, you have to chase a survivor, even if they have a bear trap on their head. Like, you're going to have to chase someone. So, yeah, have fun with that. You can have an Exhaustion Blindness add-on. They may even change them to compensate. I'm not too sure. But hypothetically speaking, if they keep the exhaustion one, it's gonna be fucking mental. Change Vanity Mirror, which thank God they just removed the penalty. So R.I.P. Burger King Myers. But yes, I might actually start using this now on Myers because it's an add-on that I've tried to make use, but the movement speed penalty is just way too bad. Just makes it horrible. And this one will... I assume they have to be injured for this to work. Deep Wound will be put on Survivor. Deep Wound will put Survivor into this. Oh, also... Okay, yeah, these are the descriptions they were talking about, because they said they're going to add a small description of what the stats effects actually do. So yeah, unless it's suspended before time runs out. I assume... Oh yeah, while injured. I need to actually read better. But yes, while injured, inflict Deep Wound. I think it's fine. No one really misses skill checks on these. Gonna punish newer players, sure. If you can get this to... Oh yeah, and you can't do impossible skill check on it, so... It's just more objectives, really. Which is fine. Pig is kind of the killer if you want to put side objectives on survivors. So go down here. Right, we've got a few perk updates. Vigil. I'm looking forward to this only because with the broken exposed. Don't think this won't work with against Myers or Ghostface at all. Because Myers is set to his timer, his power timer, and so is his Ghostface, his mark timer. Those can't be changed because the way those work is whilst you have whilst you're marked by Ghostface, you're exposed. It's not you're exposed for 45 seconds. It's you're marked for 45 seconds, which means you're exposed. And it's the same with Myers in tier 3. He's in tier 3 for 45 seconds? I can't remember. But whilst he's in tier 3, you're exposed. It's not they are exposed for 45 seconds. So it'll only work with like perks and add-ons that may make people exposed. So it's fine. Oblivious, same thing goes there. It's not going to work against Freddy, unfortunately. But it will work against things that apply it for a set amount of time rather than an ability that afflicts the timer. And the same with Broken. It's not going to work with Gnome either, unfortunately. But it will work, and it's not going to work against Plague. But it will work against Legion's add-on. It will work against Forced Penance. It will work against with For the People. Not Second Wind, unfortunately, because Second Wind applies the Broken until it comes off cooldown, which I think should be reworked so that you get healed once you come out of the Broken status effect, but if you don't have the Broken status effect once you're unhooked, it will apply it to you for the set amount of time. That way it could work with Vigil, and it could also work with like Deliverance, but you'd have to wait longer for the Deliverance effect to go away. But that's just, that's for another time. But it will work with, For the People, it will work with Deliverance, and it will make it last 42 seconds. So that's actually really fucking good. And obviously exhaustion as well. So you're getting like a really fucking quick exhaustion. So more sprint burst Vigil I can see happening. Babysitter / Guardian is getting a survival get a speed boost, and controversial as a killer main. It's gonna be controversial, but I hope it's exhaustion speeds that they're running to 8 seconds for. I hope they're running at 150% speed for 8 seconds when they get unhooked. Because it would literally be the ultimate anti-tunnel perk. Other than, it would outclass Borrow Time as the anti-tunnel perk. I shit you not. You would be able to outrun an Oni, a Nurse, a Wraith won't be able to get distance on you. A few killers, like Spirit. Spirit's power doesn't last long enough, I believe. No, it does. But also you can't see the survivor, so yeah. Blight will be one of the few that Oni can because Oni moves fast. I'm such an idiot sometimes. But even then, Oni's only work while he's in his power, and why the fuck would you go to the injured person whilst you're in your power? So really good change. I like it. If it's not the exhaustion speed, I don't really care. And the aura reading duration has been doubled, I think. Fine. You can use it to taunt the killer if you want, to try and lure them away. Like, I'm teabagging you through the wall. What are you gonna do, huh? And it's a strat that apparently works. Pressing crouch multiple times works against killers. For the people, they're just reducing the broken to 60 seconds. I did have a better idea for this, but I mean, it's fine. It's nothing offensive. Still not going to really see it a lot. Hex Retribution actually will be really good, because if you cleanse a totem, let's say you look for Ruin and you're kind of ignoring dull totems, and you go for Ruin, well, now you know Retribution is actually in play, and you get cursed, regardless of whether it's a Hex or a Dull. And obviously then, once you do that, you go, oh, well, in that case, as soon as I clean this, killer's going to be able to see my aura for 15 seconds, so it actually is both a buff and a nerf. It's more towards the buff side, but it also kind of nerfs in the fact that it makes survivors more aware that it exists. Blood Favorite, I like this. I like this because it's now worthy of being a hex. This on someone like Huntress, Trickster, on Nemesis will be completely insane. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. Even Demo would be able to make good use out of it. Third Seal, same thing. I also like this one. You'll be able to apply it really fucking easy with some killers like Huntress, like I said before, with a Nemesis, with Demo, a lot of special attack based killers. Blight as well, you'll be able to get this off on quite easy. So that's nice. It's nice to see. Thrill is basically making it so that it also gives the blessing penalty as well, which we'll get into in the second part here. But basically, it's just so it gets extra use. Then they added the kill switch, which essentially means if there's a game-breaking exploit in the game, they can just disable it. They can do it with maps right now, but that's the only thing they can do it with. The best example of this is you go back to when Legion could like stack the mending time add-on to the point where it took you 5 minutes to mend in some cases. They had to make it a bannable offense to stop people from doing it. But if obviously now, if something like that happened again, they could just kill switch the add-ons basically, which means they'll just be disabled and you wouldn't be able to use them. I think you'd still be able to earn them, but you wouldn't be able to use them. So this is all really good, and this got people really hyped. And then the second part came out, and I like this. So Deathslinger is getting a few changes. Deathslinger makes it so you can't shoot until you fully aim down sight, which I believe takes... Is it 0. It's like 0. I think it's 0.3 seconds before you could shoot, but I think it takes about 0.5 for you to aim down sight. So you have to take 0.5 seconds to aim down sight, and then shoot. As an increased delay after cancel. I say so your aim out of sight basically. That's also basically you can't just aim out. Then it's gonna feel. I think that's gonna feel really clunky. Not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's also gonna be healthier for the game when you go up against Deathslinger. They also made it so that you can move faster whilst aiming down sights with Deathslinger. Oh, and they've increased its tear radius to 32 meters. So all of these, I think, are good changes. Don't get me wrong, but I think Deathslinger needs a little bit of help because he's not top tier. I don't think he's top tier. Even in the 1v1, he's outclassed by Trickster and Huntress. And what I think needs to happen is they need to make it take longer to aim down sights. Increases projectile speed to like 80 meters a second, or even just make it hit scan. And they need to make it so that chain durability is based on distance. So the more distance there is between Survivor and you, the more durability your chain has. So if you like just decide to spear someone around a loop, for example, you're not going to be able to just drag yourself through it. Like, it's going to break really quick. But that's also should be saved for another video. But overall, I like these changes. Basically, they gave them a bit more counterplay. Now, if they could do that to Trickster, that'd be fucking great. Plague is just quality of life changes. As a buff to the duration of infection on objects for like 5 seconds. And they also said, additional penalty to interacting with something that is currently infected. So basically, if you're infected and you interact with something that is infected, you get more infection. That's what I'm thinking. Or they make it so that the infection you gain is just faster from those actions. Increase the base infection duration. Okay, yeah, so so you just infect better, basically. Turning Vile Purge, basically they just made it so that she doesn't slow down as much when you your puke or cancel puke. It's just on a cooldown, basically. I should really just read after canceling or purging, yada yada yada. Increase the movement speed so it doesn't feel as clunky, because Plague is one of those kills that actually feels really fucking clunky to play. One of the last things it did, probably bad. Oh yeah, when you let go, your whole power is cancelled, and now you just tap it, and then it kind of slowly goes back down. Holy shit! Why is my phone not on mute? Like other killers, yeah. So they did some cool shit. They made life poggy woggies for all of us, for all the plague mains out there. Oh yeah, and they made cleansing take it 2 seconds longer. So not a lot is going to change with plague. The playstyle is going to be the same, which I hate. I hate facing plague. Is one of the most boring killers in the game to face, and I'm not going to get into that. But yeah. And this is a meme add-on. They've decided to create a meme add-on for plague. Woo! But they have made it so that instead of puke, your strat now is not to puke on survivors to infect them. It's to puke on objects, and the objects it lasts longer on object. It lasts out 80 seconds, which I honestly think, and don't hurt me anyone, but I think that should just be how it is. Not gonna lie. I think that should just be how it is in game. Because her playstyle is just spit on you until you're broken, M1. And now it's like infect objects, try and create a sort of chain of infection. I don't know. It's a downgrade. Also, I might just start running this because it's actually more interesting. You can get increased infection. So there are positives to this as well, which is actually, I'm hoping they do this for all the add-ons. Because if they do, I could completely scrap all the ones that I wrote down. And this one is just, it's not going to be helpful. It's the similar one to the Nemesis zombies. You just have to kind of use your fucking eyes. You even get a noise notification, so you go, oh, which one of the fountains is... Oh, look, it's over there. Cool. But if you don't like using your eyes, I suppose they could tell you which direction they're going in, but why would you go for the survivor that cleansed? The only thing you really need to know is the survivor was there, and there's a pull for crop purge. Like I said, they did the modernization for survivor items and add-ons, which is good. Like really good. And then perk updates, of course not the last of them. Like, I hope more perks are done. Windows Opportunity, they just removed the cooldown. Thank fuck for that. Repressed Alliance, they reduced the time required to activate, which is good, because people sleep on this perk, not gonna lie. If you hate going up against, like, 3 gens, this actually helps a lot. Oh, yeah. So you can keep a killer busy for like 15 extra seconds or so. Yeah. I think they should also buff the duration that Repressed Alliance lasts for as well. Because I think it's 30 seconds. I think they should buff it to 45. They should just make it a direct counter to pop. Built to Last. Built to Last looks really interesting, not gonna lie. And it seems like a counter to Franklin's. Also, your item loses 33, so you start with 33. You're going to go to 67. Wait. Oh, wait, hold on. It refuels it to 99% of its charge. Oh, wait, but it... So it goes from 99 to 66 to 33. Okay, so it works 3 times. Rather than... Oh, that is a net buff, regardless. Like 99% of the charges, I mean, you're gonna, like, if you're using a medkit, you are gonna need, like, bonus charge add-on. But that's good. That's really good. Any means necessary. I love this idea. I love the idea of just being able to see the auras on drop pallets. It makes things. It also, believe it or not, this will be amazing for solo queue. I mean, it already is. Don't get me wrong. But you'll be able to see the aura on all drop pallets on the map, which means as soon as you see a pallet drop, you know that A, your teammate is there, and that there's like a high ass fucking chance that the killer is also there. So now you know where the killer is as well. And then you know if they broke it's basically like Windows but better. I mean Windows helps with obviously Windows, but this lets you know which resources are broken and which ones are dropped. That actually is really good. And I really like this. And no mither. So I had a whole rework written down for this, but the devs have now just basically confirmed that, yeah, we're not getting rid of the hard mode perk. So I might have to take a look at that again, because whilst these are all great, like you get the extra reduction to once I'm paying by 75, which I still don't think it's enough, personally. I do think it should be 100%. They also give you increased recoveries. So you pairing this with Unbreakable will give you what? 55% recovery speed? That's gonna be fucking insane. That honestly is. You could do like the ultimate self pickup build where you run it with Tenacity, Soul Guard, Unbreakable. And I mean obviously a killer's not gonna slug you, don't get me wrong. Because you're running no mither, and like nearly every killer knows you can't slug someone running no mither. But fuck, would that be cool? And if you want to hear what my idea for no mither is now, it's just because they want to make it a hard mode perk, make it worth running it as well. Like, oh, you're in hard mode? Well, have some extra. I think they should just double your blood points at the end of the game for just running no mither, basically. Just use it as the ultimate BP farm perk. Yeah, sure, Wiggle Live Forever does that, but you could get like, you could theoretically get 200% more blood points if you combine them both. Mindbreaker or Fearmonger? Okay, Fearmonger, what an interesting name. So they make it blind as well as exhaustion. Cool. Fun thing though is that Vigil's gonna make the exhaustion go before the blindness because it doesn't work with blindness, I believe. Broken, Exposed, Oblivious. I think it should also work with blindness, but yeah. Blindness also needs a buff. Now this is the one I looked forward to. I did not expect it to come this update. I really didn't. Because they have been so quiet about the hatch and key update that I honestly thought it was gonna be like next year where we'd get this. But happy to say it is this year, but we're getting it. So this is all just a positive, by the way. Everything about this is pure positive. I have nothing but great things to say about this. The hatch and key update. So hatch can no longer spawns if there's more than one survivor left. Perfect. That's basically all you really needed to do. That is the only thing you really needed to do, and it's actually a change I wrote down. Oh, hatch can't spawn if there's one survivor left. It's pretty mental. I mean, it's a simple change. It also takes a few seconds to open a key, open a hatch with a key, which also isn't. It's only a few seconds, and you don't lose progress for being cancelled. So if you really wanted to BM, you could 99 it and then be like, "Ah, look at me, I'm gonna boom pop it in." Cool, but I mean, there's still one either way, so it doesn't actually matter. And you've also reworked the Where Did They Go achievement, which is obviously something they have to do. So it is a nerf to hatch it. Don't get me wrong, this is a pure nerf to keys in every way, shape, and form. But what this actually does is for the survivor and for the killer, right? For the killer side of you, 4 survivors can't escape through hatch before all the gens. 4 survivors can't escape before all gens are done, which is the big problem with keys. Now, as well, from the survivor's point of view, you can't accidentally show killer hatch. And there's less incentive for one of the last 2 survivors to camp hatch or wait for the other to die. Which also is a really good thing, because then what it does is it makes it an actual 50-50 at the end of when there's only one person left. And yeah, sure, you could be, oh well, got robbed, like it was a lucky escape, cool, no one cares, it's the last survivor, who gives a fuck. You're still gonna get merciless. So you're still gonna get your adept killer. And from the survivor's point of view, it's like, oh, killer knows where hatch is, there's no point in going to the hatch, just go to the exit gate. And then if the exit gates are really close together, it becomes hopeless and you just basically commit suicide. Or the killer feels sorry for you and actually lets you escape, and it's just like, it's not rewarding. So it being an actual 50-50 is nothing but a benefit to both sides, but benefit to the game's health in general. And then finally, Boon. I think this is the final. Oh, there's the addendum about spirits dust kicking. Boon totems. I don't get me wrong. I love the idea of survivor hex totems or survivor totem perks, because it gives them an extra objective. I've seen people complain like, oh, the killers are gonna have to stomp around the map and find their totems, and they have to break their overpowered totem perks. Not like survivors already have to do that. But what was really interesting about the wording is, so I was able to bless the blue totem into blessings and just okay, yeah. Are designed to offer comfort to the survivor team, a small safe haven. What this implies to me right now is that it's an AoE. It's an area of effect perk. So if a survivor goes near the totem, they get some kind of buff or bonus. I'm hoping. I will denounce boon totems if any of them affect gen speed. Just putting it out there. But if it's like, oh, you're near a totem, you can get some passive healing maybe. Or it can hide your aura or show the killer's aura. Could do both, you know. It could. There's a few cool AoE effects you could actually do with this. And because it's an area of effect, it isn't that bad. Because you think, oh, if it increases movement speed, a survivor could put it in the middle of a loop, and then it can go faster in the middle of a loop. Congratulations, a killer could walk up to it in the middle of a loop, see that there's a totem there, and destroy it. They don't actually destroy it, by the way. They dispel the blessing. But if you put it in the middle of a loop, it's going to be extremely obvious, because it's going to be a high traffic area. If you put it at the edge of a map, well, that's going to be a problem for you too, because it's at the edge of a map. If you want to go to your hypothetical healing totem, you're going to have to trudge to the corner of the map and basically self-care. Or medkit heal, I suppose. Maybe it depends on what's faster. You want to know where the killer is? Well, you can stick it in the middle of a loop, sure, but the killer's going to know where it is. And if you're going to put it in the edge of a map, then congratulations, it's at the edge of a map. If you want to know where the killer is, it's not going to be a problem. Some people are really overselling how much of a problem boon totems are going to be. The moment that they start not being an AoE, or if they're not an AoE, that I believe is when it's going to cause a few problems. But again, it's the same thing with killer hex perks. Survivors can trudge around for an average of 5 minutes trying to find both your ruin and undying. And by the way, undying counters boon totems, because you're going to be able to see the aura of the survivor cleansing or blessing, and they're probably going to run around looking for undying because they want to use their blessings without being seen. So it's a really cool gameplay dynamic. And obviously you can run thrill if you run. By the way, it hasn't said if it spawns any more totems. So if it doesn't, you can straight up counter boon totems by just running all hex perks. If you run undying, ruin, devour, haunted, that's all 5. Or if you want to run like thrill, then that's 4 totems, and plus if they go to bless the doll, they're going to be seen with undying. You can literally just complete, and it self-cannibalizes with inner strength unless they change it. And that is all there is. I'm really looking forward to this update. I don't think there is a single negative about this update at all. I have not seen anything that I have sat there and gone, oh, I don't like this. I don't want this to be in the game. I love, right now, every single change that they've announced in this update. and the 3 add-ons that they've shown, and it does really make me hopeful for this game. There's gonna be a really hype PTB, and it is I believe it's next week. Next week's player test build, unless when did this September 22nd? It could actually be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow because it was edited. But I don't know. It's either going to be tomorrow or next Tuesday, the PTB. And that's it all for me. Everything about this is looking great. Cannot wait for the new Survivor that they're teasing. I know it's a new Survivor because they're not going to put a killer in the mid chapter. All these killer updates look really nice. The one thing I hope for is more killer music, but we'll have to wait and see. So I wish you all a good day and enjoy your life.